Your Vanderbilt women's basketball head coach Shea Ralph. Coach, your team has an unusual off week. You only have one game this week. It's on Sunday against Kentucky. Top 20 matchup here at Memorial Gym. How are you preparing for this week?
We're excited to have a week where we have a bye. So now we can really work on some things that we know we need to get better at. And that's great. That's how we're going to utilize the time this week. And then we'll give them an extra day off so that they can rest, recover, take care of their bodies, make sure they're doing their schoolwork, all the things that student athletes have to do. So right now it's just good to be home, taking care of our bodies, and really just kind of focusing on doing work around the things that we've got to improve on. And that's it.
The game on Sunday was moved to national TV. Just kind of what are your thoughts on that, and how much does that mean to you guys to be able to, be put on that pedestal?
Yeah, really excited to play a top 20 matchup at home. And now we'll be nationally televised. Can't wait to see Commodore Nation. Our kids are really excited about it. It's just another way for us to promote the sport, to promote Vanderbilt, and just continue to climb to the places that we want to be. And so one of the things we talked about when we got here was part of the vision was just being a household name. You can't be that unless people are watching. And so we're excited to be in a position where our game was able to be moved and that people want to watch us play on TV.
What do you think your team learned about that from that last matchup 2 weeks ago?
Against Kentucky?
Yeah.
I think, that was one of I think we had 3 games in a row where we just had really tough starts, maybe 3 or 4 games in a row where we had really tough starts. And that one was the last one. And I think that, being on the road in that environment, learning how to kind of push through that and execute, and then deciding that we don't want to do that anymore. We just don't want to be the team that has to continue to dig ourselves out of the hole, but also gave us super high level of confidence in terms of our execution down the stretch, the things that we needed to do. I thought Michaela had a great game, but everybody did what they did really well in that game, especially towards the end when we had to win it. So that's the takeaways were both. Like, we've got to work on this part, but then this is who we have to be all the time.
Kentucky's the only team that you're going to face twice this season. How much does that change your preparation going into it?
It doesn't change much at all. I think what does change is that we have the bye week before, so our preparation will look a little different than it normally does, but you know me, I think we just have to get much better at what we do, and then we're going to play around with doing some things differently so that if we need it and when we need it, we can go to it.
Coach, off the bench here, Aurie's been getting some big minutes in the last couple weeks or so. Can you speak about her contributions to the team and what you're looking for more out of her going forward?
Yeah, I mean, Aaliyah is a joy to have on the team. She's a huge energy booster, energy giver. She's incredible in the locker room. She's probably in my office more than I'm in my office. Just to come through and say hi, you just have to have somebody like that, whether she's playing or not. She brings great energy. She's a great voice to have on the team. She's paying attention, and which is why she's able to contribute, whether her number is called early or late. She comes in knowing what she needs to do, and the team trusts her. What I'd like to see of her, more of her moving forward, is just continuing to work on being in a position physically, mentally, and emotionally to contribute. So she's a big body that we need. We've got to be able to play her for longer stretches, which means she's got to be in great shape. We'll keep working on that as the year continues to go on.
Have you made any adjustments defensively after that game against Georgia?
Yes, obviously it wasn't how we play anyway. I was disappointed just in our effort and communication. We had a game plan that we didn't stick to. So that's number one. If we have a game plan, we got to stick to it. It can't be that we're not doing the things we talked about. But also, when adjustments need to happen, we need to be able to make them, whether it's, get on them about being disciplined or just change up what we're doing. So we worked a lot on that today, and we'll continue to work on it through the course of the week.
Justine is the only player in women's college basketball in the top 10 three-point makes and percentages. What can you say about her contributions right now in this moment to the team?
So she is, I think, the best shooter in the country, and we talk about that all the time. In our locker room, on the court, we watched a lot of film today about how we need to, when she's open, we need to give her the ball a little bit more. But also, she's not just a shooter, and I think that's what makes her so good at that, because she's constantly moving. She sets great screens. She's a good decision maker with the ball. We can play her all over the court, which makes her more lethal when you don't know what we're running, right? So if we're playing basketball and Justine's all over the place and able to do more than just shoot the ball, she scored a lot with her back to the basket against Georgia, which we're continuing to work on. then she becomes an even better and more lethal three-point shooter. But I mean, she can make it from Chattanooga. So like, I mean, we've just got to make sure that when she's open, that she gets a great touch and a great look at the basket. Just makes us a better team.
Coach, there's been a lot of talk about the SEC and how difficult it is and all the parity this year. What do you think's led to an increased amount of parity, and how does that prepare you for the postseason?
I think, I don't know in women's basketball, if I was a player right now, I would want to play in the SEC. You're coming into a league where every night you're going to be coming up against the best players in the country and the best coaches in the country. And so that's what makes it, have parity, because we have all of those things. We're the best conference. Now you look at the landscape and what that offers at this level. And so every night's going to be a battle. And you learn a lot either way. And I tell my team this all the time: performance is learning. So we learn a lot of good things that we do, and then sometimes the lessons are hard. And we have to learn, all right, next time we have to do this better in order for us to come away with a win. But the great thing about the SEC is that it prepares you. It prepares you. So I feel really good about the lessons that we're learning in all the ways to continue to improve. Because if we don't, then we're not going to be able to reach our goals. And playing in the SEC allows you to really be tested and really be exposed, whether it's good or not so good.
Against Georgia, they made it hard for Michaela to even attempt any shots.
Yeah.
The next time that if another team does that kind of defense, what would you do similarly or differently compared to on Sunday?
Yeah, it's interesting because so many people have tried to do the same thing, and I think that we did a better job of getting her the ball. And so part of it was we just weren't executing, and I think that is preparation, that is routine, that is reps. And the other part of it is, how can we continue to keep things fresh for Michaela as teams start to scout her and the things that we're trying to do, and how can we tweak and flex and do things differently so that she's impossible to guard and she has to have the ball. So we have to be more disciplined in getting it to her, but we also have to have her moving in different ways so that she's not as easy to be guarded and it's not as easy for her to not have the ball. Does that make sense? So they have to do their job, then I also have to help her and get open more.
Feels like last time you guys played Kentucky, Ava Black came off the bench and gave good energy.
Yeah.
Because of that, do you feel more confident playing her against them on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I think, and today we repped a lot of that. I think even looking back to the Georgia game, she came in and gave great minutes. She came in and gave great minutes last week. And so you look at her plus minus, and that doesn't tell the whole story, but Ava just brings energy and she understands what her job is. And so I think that right now we have a really high level of confidence in her and just making sure that she gets enough reps at all the positions she's going to play. I think down the stretch she's going to be hugely valuable because she's just tough. She makes defensive plays, she'll rebound, she'll put her neck out on the line, and she takes good care of the ball. And right now that's really all we need from the players that are coming in off the bench to do things that are going to help us on the defensive end and to make good decisions with basketball.
How have you seen Aubrey grow since she first stepped on campus? I know you touched on it a little bit.
We don't have enough time for that. I think it's you have to remember this time last year, that kid was in high school, nobody knew who she was. And she just kind of got thrown into the fire. This summer, Maddie went down, and I can't really take her off the floor, not in practice, not in games. She doesn't want to come off the floor. So her growth has been astronomical just in terms of her ability to focus and be disciplined, because what is different at this level is that we make her do things a certain way. There's a certain way that you have to operate, whether it's here or in the classroom or in the locker room. This is what we do here. And Aubrey had played with the same group for I think 12 years, and I remember a conversation, she was like, we never ran plays. And I was like, well, we're gonna have to learn how to run some plays here. We're gonna have to learn how to do some things here, but that's also what makes her so great. So while I think that she's grown and stretched herself and really has bought into, this is who I am and this is what I do, but also I have to be measured and poised and have composure and defend, she's made us better. Because she's reminding us, when you have really good guards, and Michaela's one of them, Aubrey's one of them, you just let them play. Let them play freely, and you're going to have to live with some of the stuff that they do, but in the end, they're going to win you a lot more games than they lose you. And they're going to become incredibly talented, gifted, trusted, confident basketball players.
The loss to Georgia is different than the other two losses you all have had this year, where you had a chance at the end, but you couldn't quite get it to go.
Yeah.
How tough are those mentally, and how do you feel like your team's responded to that?
My team responded really well. better than me. No, I'm kidding, not really. But I think that they understood, and this is the other thing, those opportunities are gonna come. But had we done what we were supposed to do for the 39 minutes and 57 seconds before that last play, then it wouldn't have been that way. And so there are gonna be games where we don't, and we're gonna have to grind it out. So we have to figure that out too. But we also have to remember that when we play as close to 40 minutes of Vanderbilt basketball that we can play, then those situations probably won't happen, And then when we get to that point now, we have to do a better job of making sure that we at least get, I thought we got a good look, but we got to make sure that we get the ball where we want it to go.
Coach, you're good when people start nitpicking everything.
Yeah.
Kayla scoring, almost hitting 30 Sunday, doing it most from the free throw line. What do you have to say about that crazy debate that people bring up that, she gets most of her points by going 19 or 20 from the line? I mean, that's the game, right?
I'd say if you watch more than one game, that wouldn't be the argument that you would have. But, that's why I don't go on social media, and I tell my kids not to do it. It's just, people are always going to have opinions, and most of them have never done what they're trying to do, and that's okay. That's the world that we live in. But I don't want any of it to get in the way of what they're trying to accomplish. So that kid is an incredible scorer, and the fact that she got that many points from the free throw line just means I needed to get her there more. That's it, and that doesn't take away from anything else that she is or who she is, but just watch a little more basketball and I bet you have a different opinion.
All right.